Welcome. I never know whether, I don't know, sometimes I haven't done a TikTok in a little bit, so I might be doing a TikTok later. A tickety, tickety, talk, talk, talk. Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome. So, happy full moon. Today's the full moon. And I just posted it, and I think it's so funny. This is what I just posted. And just to let people know that when you know the Lionsgate portal isn't real because it was made up by some dude in the 90s, just an FYI to people, I've been saying this for the longest time that the portal, and I've seen so many postings for the Lionsgate portal, like 88, 88, 88, and all of this. It's not real, people. All right. The sun is not conjunct Sirius on August 8th. Also, 88 is based on the Gregorian calendar, which was created by the Vatican. Yeah, to get us off the natural calendar and organize us to pay taxes. Just a little FYI. I find it quite hilarious. But every year, I saw people going out into the woods for 8/8 and all of this, and I'm just like, people, just just one of those crazy things, right? Just like, your soulmate. Oh, this is my soulmate. And people getting sucked into that. That was something that was brought up in the 80s too, that just, clicked and everybody, oh yeah, we need to find our soulmate. How's that working out for people? So, and it's funny what I have noticed lately too in the spiritual realm, all of these people who are like, yes, we found our soul. This is back in, I guess, early 2000s and even late 90s. And people are like, yeah, we found our soulmate. We are soul together. They're getting divorced now. So I just find that totally hilarious. Totally hilarious. So, but here we are. Here we are. We are at a full moon at 21 degrees, and this is no ordinary lunation. It's a cosmic briefing, private meeting of with the architectural future. This energy is wow. It's cosmic to say the least. It's not a gentle full moon. It doesn't want you to drift. It wants you to define. That's what this is. And this is to look at what is worth building and who is worth standing beside. It's bringing in so much that, of course, we're going to have things that, people are going to feel like, oh, government says we can't do this. All of these cosmic lockdowns are going to start happening too. And people are going to be like, oh my God, what can I do? There's so much you can do. And I was just thinking, which sometimes happens, that, I mean, have you noticed that Chat GPT 5 now? And I guess people aren't correlating any of this together and all of these upgrades that are happening, especially with AI right now. And I'm just like, okay, well, this Stargate just came in. This interstellar um, ship just has been spotted, and it's coming up more and more. It's not a comet, and just even with the colors, the vibrational colors of it, that's coming forth. So very interesting. I know a lot of I watched a couple podcasters and stuff, and they're making jokes of this. They're thinking, oh, it's nothing, blah blah, um, and sort of downgrading it. And I'm just like, very interesting. And I'm just like, okay, you guys know nothing about astrology or astronomy or how any of this works. You just sort of like bypass it unless it hits really big mainstream media. Even those who are off of mainstream media, there's still some lingering of mainstream that is there. So, and not doing their own critical thinking. But this energy that's coming in right now is about research, libraries, and astrology. We have this trine that's happening with Mars and Libra, trining over to Uranus and Gemini and Pluto and Aquarius. Um, and it's this beautiful wrapped kite that's in the air, and the opposition to Saturn and Neptune, these little menaces. Um, hasn't happened, and I think because the Leo King was talking about this, since 651 BC, which it was spot on. What's that? 4,000 years ago or something like that. So this is massive interstellar political shifts are coming in. It's screaming though, and thanks to Uranus and Gemini, it's the higher octave to Mercury's signature, right? So it's really having us to reach a higher octave, a higher spiritual realm, and moving us towards that. This is where, with Mars and Libra, it's driving us for strategic partnership, artistic action, balanced confrontation. And Uranus and Gemini is revolutionary thought. Last time with Uranus and Gemini, I mean, that was with the Germans and everything they were studying. I mean, everything that the Germans were studying, the scientists were studying, had to do with interstellar. They were studying aliens. They created the very first computer, right? These are the scientists that they brought to the United States for Project Paperclip, right? And devising the atomic bomb. So leaps and bounds were done there. New technology in airplanes, jets, right? No more propellers, jet engines, right? So revolutionary thought, tech leaps. I mean, we're going to be seeing upgrades happening. Boom, 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 especially when it comes to technology and shocking communication shifts. I, you know, I know what's happening in the Muggle world. I get what's happening in the Muggle world. And people are freaking out about it. And I'm just like, man, there is something greater and more cosmic coming our way that we have to focus on. And it's how we are going to upgrade with this. And this is symptomatic upheaval. Now, I'm watching, as you know, I've been watching all of these places be built, and they're going up fairly fast. But there's technology out there that can build a house in less than 2 months, start to finish. And it's the prefabrication, putting everything in the computer. It's using 3D, especially these 3D printers. And they're not the 3D printers that you're thinking about, right? That take hours or however. But it's so precise. The precision is so precise with these. It's phenomenal. And they come where they are able to make sure that they're weatherproofed and everything else. So very similar to that net zero home and the weatherproofing and everything that's going on in there. That's taken a little bit of time. I don't know. But anyways, but I'm finding it interesting because this is all the up level. This is where you have all of these guys doing construction and everything, which is really cool. But it's learning how to up level with all of this, right? It's looking at where I watch, we all know what I watch chateaus, but seeing some of these guys coming in, they're craftsmen and they're true craftsmen, putting the copper on top of the roofs and everything. It's a craft, right? And these we have to remember to keep up with. We can't lose these types of crafts because of how fast everything is up leveling. This is where in knowing these crafts are going to come to your benefit. In knowing these trades is going to come to your benefit. And keeping up on these trades and the new developments that are coming in are going to be really important, right? And studying these. And the thing is that you don't have to go to school to do it. You're going to find, like, with technology and everything, the information coming in, it's like schools are becoming obsolete paying tens of thousands of dollars to go to school. I mean, teachers right now can't even keep up with the educational system because these kids are coming in knowing more than what the teacher does. And that's because they have the information in the palm of their hands, right? This is where this energy with this Mars, Uranus, Pluto, this is where opportunities are there. And it brings our intense but demand calculated moves and not impulsive leaps, right? This isn't about the Leo energy going in and sucking out all the energy. It's about going in there, right? Harvard is giving away free courses. Yeah. So there's so much out there that you can go and you can get and you can obtain information. You don't have to go and get a history degree and doctorate in history. You can start doing your own and start really revolutionary more of that information and finding that information out there. And especially with the technology of AI. So there's opportunities out there. This is collective force, the full moon, the humanitarian vision, the futuristic downloads. And this is accepting and not being afraid of the future, not being afraid of the changes that are coming in. The moon feels like, right now it's outside the party. It's under pressure from Saturn and Neptune and Aries, and it's creating a lot of emotional fatigue, a sense of being blocked out of the main event. And the push is to think bigger picture. It's um, less about personal ego. Aquarius doesn't care how you feel. It wants the upgrades. It wants the new and improved. It doesn't want to sit by on the sidelines, right? And finding that energy, like working with this energy. It's phenomenal. This with Mercury in Leo retrograde, this is deep mental excavation, hidden motives surfacing. There's conversation, there's power struggle. Not everyone's revealing their true cards. This aspect also intensifies AI, tech, and revolutionary themes: the mind versus the machine, creative sovereignty versus collective systems. We are seeing, people are making a big thing over the Venus Jupiter. Well, hey, who has a conjunction of Venus Jupiter in their sign? P. Diddy. I don't trust it. Like, I don't trust it. This is where it can come over expansive. Jupiter can overexpand anything, right? And make it look good, because that's what Jupiter does. He's the expander. He's the ruler of Sagittarius. And this is, expansive about love and money and art energy. But these things can get so blown out of proportion where people pay millions of dollars for a potato because the guy says it's art. And oh yeah, it's art because he says it's art. It's a fucking potato. Yes, that's gonna shrivel up and sprout and might stink, but you're gonna pay the money for it, aren't you? So this is a great for opening new containers in relationships and in finances if you're grounded. This is hyperinflation vibe in both markets and emotions. So it's really important to really check your ego at the door, right? And this is where, for information, this is where people can make money. Like if you want, it's wide open in what you want to create and how you want to create it, right? And learning about it. There's a lot of crazy parallels that are going on. Look at Nova Scotia, the climate lockdown. This is potentially hidden military movement, which fits with the Uranus Pluto signature, control versus liberation, right? Um, the meeting that's going to be happening in Atlanta, there's shadow diplomacy that's going on there. There's, yeah, there's alliance that are being formed about a long game power positioning, but the chart echoes hidden negotiations with future consequences. I got to go by the astrology, and I always go by the astrology. I hold true to the astrology. because when I do my predictions and I look at the things that are happening as above and I look at what's going on, I'm just like, there's something more to it. You can, and the thing is that you can look down the road, you can plot where the planets are going to be, and you can see, wow, there's some really crazy things that are going on. We have one lunation cycle before we hit the eclipses. The first eclipse will be a lunar eclipse in Pisces, and since we're having two new moons in Virgo, the last new moon is like 29 degrees, and it's a solar eclipse. So we have this energy coming in, that's bringing in transformational changes in and around us. And the future right now, it isn't knocking, it's already inside our houses. It's here. And this Aquarius and Pluto and Uranus means you don't get to keep things the way you've always kept them. This is where I have to say, even with, I'm going back to the trades because I can hear the guy pounding outside. These things are changing dramatically in how things are being created and how they're being built and how they're being engineered right across the board in all different parts of trade. And this could be from, and I got plasters, I got frame workers to welders um, to guys who pour the cement. And the cement, and even cement is changing. I mean, it has been, where cement won't be. It's the mixture and the components are changing. The molecular system of the cement is changing. It's making it stronger, lighter, more versatile, etc. Even being able to put insulation within the cement, so you don't have to add on insulation. It's really weird. Anyways, but that's all changing. So how our houses and everything are going to be built, how our vehicles are engineered, and the changes in engineering with our vehicles. So, and that's even coming down to vehicles that are self-driven, right? And a lot of people are like, "Well, I ain't going to go into self-driven vehicles in bigger cities." Get more calls than Ubers or taxis because people feel safer in them. And so you have these new vehicles that are going around that have no driver in them. And they're going to be perfected within the next year or so, right? So these things are coming in, and the changes are very vast, but they're coming rapidly. This isn't like, oh, it's 10 years, 15 years. This is like weeks, months that all of this is happening. Just think, you think that chat has been here all the time, but chat hasn't been around that long, and it's already up to chat 5. And this chat 5 came in as um as this interstellar is coming in, just the same way as Oumuamua came in, and then the quantum computer with Google spawned, the quantum computer. So there's all of these aspects that are coming in, and this is where the call to purge the ego driven motives. This is where you have to define your role in the collective and align with relationships and resources that can truly carry you forward. And they got to be beneficial to the world, right? That Pluto and Aquarius, if it's not beneficial to humanity and to the world, this is why you're seeing so many people are starting to thrift and recycle. Like thrifting is becoming a multi-billion-dollar industry, because people are finding that, well, why do we need to go buy something new? Now, some industries like Goodwill, um, Value Village, they're big corporations, and they've taken advantage of this, immensely over the past several years. So you can go in there and you find a t-shirt that is from Walmart, George, and it's $15 or something stupid like that, and you and Walmart has their 50% sale off of all their summer stuff, or 75% sale, and you can find it for $2, right? So people are awakening to this, and they're like, we can find some things that are, you know, that might have been missed by the people that are putting it out on the floor. I mean, Goodwill has an auction site. If you haven't gone on that auction site, and these things aren't, they haven't gone out to get them. These are donated items. Donated items. They got them for free, right? And that's the whole thing. It's like you got them for free and you're auctioning off, and they get like Louis Vuitton, they get wedding rings and all kinds of stuff at Goodwill that people, that they find, or people, it's an estate sale, and they're like, well, mom's dead, I don't want any of this shit. So they take it all to Value Village or Goodwill, right? And then, of course, they go through it, and then they find, oh, if this is, and they have a place where they can, um, to make sure they're authentic. So they have an authentic section to authenticize the item. So if it's a real Louis Vuitton, or if it's a real Kelly, and I mean, there's so many different brands of purses, so they know how much they're worth. And some of these purses that they've gotten donated, okay, are like $16,000. Some Kellys, depending on what they are, can go up to over 100,000, right? And they put them up on their auction, and they make money from this. And it's free money, basically, and they take advantage of it. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying that it, awakening to what is happening. So if you're wanting, and I mean, I know, we just opened up our little Etsy shop and stuff. Cynthia and I, starting. I sent her pictures, so hopefully they can get posted. But we're selling, we're going around thrifting and to resell. You can make it into a business, right? Because not everybody wants to thrift. Where I found mugs that they're worth like anywhere between 28 and $40 for a mug, right? Because they're all hand done and stuff. I found an antique Mexican candle holder, and it's worth $40, right? That's the retail value. And so when I picked them up on the low, on the cheap, and now to resell them. So that's what we're going to do. So you can start these things like on Etsy. You can do these things and create your own business. And that's the thing. It's like how the innovation is there. If you're not sure how to write things up, well, you can go to DeepSeek or whatever it's called. You can go to Gorg. You can go to Chat. You can go to many, even on your Microsoft Word. If you're not sure how to write things up, AI is there to assist you. If you don't know how to put the words together, you have the idea and put your idea there, and then write it up for you. So and you can say, I'm needing this for Etsy, and it'll go in and it can analyze all the information that you need from Etsy, the rules and regulations and whatever, and what they need, and know how to pick up the keywords that you would need to have for your shop. So innovation is there. That's just one example of what is unfolding in this world, right? And and how you want to unfold, and how you want to work this. And I'm finding that as we are coming into this is energy. It's like it's not soft, it's not dreamy lunation. It's electric, it's disruptive, and it's laced with a kind of opportunity that arrives with both um, promise and sharp and edge. I'm working on the site tomorrow. Pick received. Thanks, Cynthia. So this is where things are happening, right? So, like learning from the Book of Enoch today, charging the gemstones. Definitely. I'd be careful with what kind of gemstones that you're charging because you gotta look at, the energies right now. There's a party going on, but the moon and sun aren't invited. So it's like having a big rave and the moon and sun are locked out, right? So if you're charging your crystals, it's like when you're charging them, it's like making sure that you're putting the intent that I'm creating a positive vibration here. It's not just laying them out in the sun or in the moonlight. It's the because it's odd energy, right? It's odd energy, and there's a lot of energy where when you do charge your crystals, it can bring in disruption and want to bring in that radical bring in some radical disruptions, and you'll be wondering what the hell, why is everything getting crazy in my house? So be prepared if you're doing that to really look at, okay, am I prepared for these radical changes that I want to have in my house? Am I prepared to have these radical changes and these new vibrations come forth into my house? And they're not like easy type of energies that will be coming. Um they're opportunities that arrive with both promise and a very sharp edge, right? So this is the potent kite formation. This is where, with Mars and Libra trining over to Uranus and Gemini, you gotta we the thing is that when we look at full moons, you have to look at the whole, right, of everything. It's not just the sun and the moon. You have to be aware of everything else that is going on within the cosmos. And if you're just focusing on that moon energy, it's just like there's some angles over to Saturn and Neptune, and they're not exactly cuddly booey kind of energies. They're not like you they're coming in very sharp and very like direct. And they're in Aries. So you got to think of, well, what's Aries? Aries is ruled by Mars, right? And this is where, but had Moldavite once and know exactly what you mean and about freaking prepared. Yeah, you really do, because things are going to be changing so radically, so fast. And with this new AI energy, I I don't think people are really prepared for especially what's going to be happening this fall and the energies that are unfolding this fall, right? Now people say the found their person. I cringe every time. I know. Um, they can 3D print homes with cement now? Yes. Yeah, they can. Yeah, it's sorry, I'm going back. I got my notes, so I go back and then I come back on here to see what everybody says. Um, yeah, the 3D printers, it's just absolutely fabulous. It's not a 3D printer the way that you think, you have in your home. This is where it's in huge warehouses, and it only takes less than 10 people to put the house together, right? And it's bam, bam, bam from the foundation up, right? And everything in there. And there's warranty and everything else on the house, like a 25-year warranty and everything else that goes along with the home. It's not like a lot of these homes that are being built right now, which are sort of like slapstick, being put together. And then there's huge problems that are coming out from this. This technology can foresee a lot of what's coming down, or if let's say you're in California and there's a lot, because there's a lot of earthquakes, so you put down where the location and everything else, and it can analyze the location, um history of that area. What is it? Is there a lot of fires? Is there a lot of earthquakes, slides, all kinds of things like that, and it can be built into your home. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy, right? So think of that being done, and now they can take things like even with doing geological sites and being able to this is how they found out, things that are underneath the pyramid, right? And doing this analysis of underneath the pyramid and what's underneath there, right? Without having to dig. Now, I've seen this years ago because I watch a lot of archaeological digs and stuff like that, where before they dig, they go through with these it looks kind of like a lawnmower, but it's not. But they go around with these sort of like these pulsations, and they pick up this vibration on what would be the best areas to start to dig first before they start digging up the whole area. Absolutely crazy. Even when they went to Archangel Michael's Mound in England, they found when they started to do that and they started to analyze it that there are so many components to that castle when it was built that they just thought it was sort of like one, but they found out that there's so many different eras within it that was built, and even things that you wouldn't have noticed were blocked off, right? That are behind certain walls and stuff, and chambers and stuff that are in there, but you wouldn't know they were there unless they did this analysis. Absolutely fabulous. Um, I think, by the time I by the time my grandson graduates, AI is going to be his world, definitely his world. For information, knowledge, and doing things. Kids as young as 10 are creating games and writing programs. That's the whole thing, is like learning the programming, learning what's behind it, right? I'm the type of person that is okay. I really don't want to know too much what's behind it. I can get it. Um, but somebody else can do that, and I'll take the fluffy stuff in front. Okay, and that's majority of the public, right? We just want the fluffy stuff that's in front. That okay, I can do this, and this with it. Cool. Um, Even building, if anybody watches Chateau Diaries, they're building their rebuilding their kitchen. They just put the marble in, but how the marble was cut and the precision in cutting this marble, all by, it's not like hand done, it's all put into this big room, and it's all programmed in. And the guy was even saying, like, there's upgrades to this, right? New upgrades that are coming in that can bring in even more precise of where your taps are gonna go in, where everything is gonna go in. You just put in all the it's crazy, and it's coming in even more rapidly with all of this energies that are coming in. And this is where I really want people to begin to have the conversation, right? Like with Mercury retrograde in Leo, it's the conversations, they're deep. Motives are revealed, power plays are exposed. And we are revisiting old ideas and finding their cracks. And what seemed to be glamorous may now be appear hollow. And this is a time to redefine the voice and reclaim the mental sovereignty. And that's why you're finding where governments like the government of Nova Scotia going in, and I think some guy I didn't read the whole post, but he got fined $28,000 for just taking a walk in the woods, and I think it's off of his property. So I think there's probably crown land off of his property, and he's probably thought, oh well, nobody will know. But you gotta think that that whole area, like I even saw a post, somebody posted like, oh haha, let them find me in here, and it was like, it looked very woody, and that whole area has been scoped out and mapped by satellite and drones. All of those drones that happened on the East Coast, right? Mapped out that whole area. Why? Right? So all of that, all of the configurations on how many homes, how much property people have, everything has been mapped out. That whole area in Nova Scotia has been mapped out, right? On what's going on and where people are. And if soon as something changes in there that they know that's not an animal and it's not one of their people that are in there, they can pick them up. It's as crazy as Area 51. You don't think that, you get so close to Area 51 and all of a sudden these people show up with big guns. You're like, "Whoa, got a little bit too close," right? That's where we're at with this energy too. It's so like where in Calgary here, there are 14 more radars going up at crosswalks, at stoplights. So in different areas in Calgary. So in 14 in 14 different communities, they have now put up more radars, right? And you got to think, why are they doing this? Okay, call me conspiracy, but this is where they can monitor, okay, who's coming in and out of there? What are their license plates? Where do they live? Because you've registered your car, right? You're a good person. We register our vehicle because if we don't, we get pulled over and our car gets towed and it's in I call it the dumpster, you know, but this is what's going on. This is the other side of it all. Of the surveillance and everything else, and of course the big brother theory and everything else. That's one side. The other side is like the technology's coming in with new opportunities, new advancements, new thought ways of creating as well. So with it, we have Mars and Libra. It's a balance. It's innovation coming in with balance. And with that trine coming in between the two, and it hasn't happened since 650 BC, and we got to go back to 650 BC and what was going on. There's a lot to do with tablets and information all being written down on these tablets and libraries being formed and information going into these libraries and how to do or work with different cosmic events that are coming in. We're all written down on these tablets. And I think it was in Prussia, not Prussia. It was in Persia. All right. And in that area of Persia. So we're talking about the Anunnaki and all the information coming in from the Anunnaki. But it's not only with them, it's also we don't look into what was going on in China. Because there was huge advancements that were going on in China at that time as well. And what they were doing with gunpowder and what they were doing with other resources that they were discovering. So we are in another age where there's other discoveries that are unveiling for us and coming into this creation. And that's what this full moon is bringing us. And this full moon too is, with this, with these frequencies that are coming in with this, moon and sun energy, the full moon, it is really activating the new world, in a world that we are dreaming out, a world that we are creating. And in this creation and in creating this is where we're going to be, humanity, the last time with humanity again felt this presence was about 3,000 years ago. And we're living under the echoes of the same frequencies now. And the air is thick with this destiny. Now, the other thing too is with this 3-1 Atlas that's coming in. When it was coming in, or when the Leo King saw it come in, and when he did his little thing, I love his mind. I just love his mind. And when I'm listening to him, I can really like, okay, yes, I can see that. Okay, I had that feeling. Where his alignment with this A1 Atlantis was exactly aligned on January 12th, 2020. And there was an eclipse at that time, and we're coming into 2 eclipses when this is going to be being able to be seen, going by Mars. So what is it bringing in? Because back in 650 BC, they wrote about cosmic events and things coming in through the sky, and then how their civilizations began to change and information started to come in. I mean, we think we're advanced, right? In a lot of ways. But did you know that the Romans had heated floors in England? Do you know that a lot of times we think of all these castles as being drafty and all this, but they had a heating system in these? It was pretty crazy and advanced for what we were thinking. And how they were angled for the sun and everything to come in. It's it's very, when you start to really sit back and look at many of the things that happened 1,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, and how they lived, and even from filtration system with the water, and they used different rocks. They knew different rocks were great for the filtration of the water, so they can filtrate all of this water um, into this energy, right? So pretty crazy. That's actually what the Book of Enoch spoke. The extraterrestrial flat Earth. Well, flat Earth. I don't. The flat Earth with the cosmos coming. The flat Earth is non-existent. But anyways, mermaids and dimensions, definitely dimensions. But there are many multi dimensions and stuff that come in here, and definitely there's mermaids, but they're not the mermaids that people think about. That's a whole nother subject. Mermaids are not the mermaids that Disney brings you. They're a whole different kettle of fish, literally. Um, but there is a lot that when we start to look at the energies in the cosmos that's coming in. Now, Atlas and Venus, the bringer of the dawn, this is where by December this year, 2025, the comet Atlas, well, they're calling it's not a comet, will round the sun and enter our skies, right? And not blazing like a great comet, but it doesn't have a tail, so it's not a comet. So this is not it's coming in and it's bringing in this energy. It's very symbolic, it's very subtle. There's hidden signs for those to pay attention to. Um, it's coming in on this world stage and bringing in these cosmic, changes. It echoes the Palladians, and there's no coincidence, only weaving a galactic plan. They're heading towards Sirius B. And this is pairing in the skies of the cosmic choreograph. So it's a time of awakening is here and in the heavens. Now, I know I used to channel a lot with the Palladians and the energies of the Palladians. And then in around 2017, 2018, they said they had to go. And that's when they told me to stop doing markets. They had me stop, to really start to change my direction of my business. And they said the main reasons that they are not that they're not going to be reenacted back into our world and maybe this year. I know there's still some people channeling Palladians, but I find that it's not. I feel like it's great to understand and read. Um, Barbara Clow, I think that's her name, books and stuff about Palladians and understanding the Palladians and the energies of the Palladians, because many of you have come from these star seeds and these energies, so that you have a really good understanding of the frequencies that are coming in. Because on that too, we got to understand there's higher octave frequencies and there's lower octave frequencies. So we have to understand that there's as above, so below too. So with the Palladians, when I was, working with them, and then they said they had to go. And they said anyone, to my knowledge, and I've had others say the same thing, that if anybody is channeling them now, it is not them they're channeling. It's some other entities that are being channeled. Now, that's was my information I received. I have had many others receive the same information as well. And this is where it's like, this is, from that time, from 2018, you really started seeing a drastic change in the world, and the world dynamics, and the control of the governments, and things really started to creep in, and people being unaware or not paying attention because all they wanted to do is live their life and not have it change. And now we're in a time that it's just radically changing, changing on radical, you know, and we're coming into a time where things are very explosive. So even deals with Putin and Trump and stuff going to, I think it's August 15th, which is interesting in itself, is coming into where there's other things behind the scene that are going to be done, other diplomatic things. I mean, we're not going to be knowing all of it, and it's in Alaska, which is kind of weird. But then again, I don't think Putin would come into the country any closer. I mean, he's got a quick getaway, you know, there, definitely from Alaska to Russia, because Russia's just there. It's across the ocean. um, so this frequencies that are coming in, that are, and especially with this, is going to be bringing in some very subtle and dramatic changes in our world. And some of these subtle, and this is why things are so fucking crazy right now and radical, from people falling in love with AI to the largest bet in Vegas right now is what color dildo is going to be coming on. For the women's basketball, they're not even watching the women's basketball, they're just waiting for a dildo to fall. um yeah. you know this is the radical crazy world we're living in. You can't go into this forest, otherwise you're going to be fined, and you're just like, whoa, what's going on? I mean, if it was down south, and they said don't go into the forest, I won't go into the forest. That's a whole different kettle of fish, and there's whole different types of entities that I don't want to be working with. uh, you know so this is a lot of part of this information we won't know about till much later, um in some of these frequency. But the Palladians, I mean, the bringer of the dawn, the messages of awakening catalysts, for the next chapter of human uh, evolution, is definitely happening now. And as the world stands on the cusp of profound transformation, and another light will join her, a traveler from deep reaches of space. This is where, the titans who carried the heavens together, they stand, heralding a dawn that is not only one day, but an entire cycle of consciousness. So this echoes a lot to do with the Pleiadians. There's no coincidence. With the cosmos, there isn't any coincidence. And it's weaving a very beautiful galactic plan, and it's pairing in the skies right now, and the cosmic choreograph that's going on. It is pretty. There's a lot of pressure points, I think, with this too. If anybody has any questions, you can ask questions. Mammy water stuff. Mammy water stuff. I don't know what the mammy water stuff is. That I don't know. I'd have to find out and educate myself on it. So the Saturn, Neptune, and Aries, it's the emotion. You're going to have emotional fatigue, uncertainty, um, a sense that the party's happening without you. So a little bit of FOMO, fear of missing out. But Aquarius is never about personal comfort zone. It's about long arc of progress, right? So the emotional tension is the signal of what to be defined and committed to and acted upon, and you're acting upon it so that it's ready when the bigger waves come in. So right now the pressure point is getting you to evolve, getting you to create. So those ideas and stuff that you may have had, it's time to act on those ideas, right? And start to work on those ideas. So this is where a lot of the pressure points, because the bigger waves, as they arrive, you're prepared for them. So you're preparing for the future. You're preparing for the big waves. And this is where it's not abstract discussions anymore. They are lived realities. So we are coming into a place where we can do things and have digital sovereignty. And this is where it's also coming in where, like in UK, that law that was just passed. I mean, basically, it comes, they always say, and this is what they do is, oh, but it's for the children. And it's like, but is it for the children? You might be coming out and saying it's for the children, but is that in actuality for the children, right? So we have this where we have to look beyond what is being put in front of us and look beyond that and start to question more and not just believe that, oh, it's just for the children. I mean, content creators and people who are posting on the news, um, their content is getting taken down faster than anything. And I mean, in the UK, they've put people who put a Facebook post up, called it hate crime, and put them in jail. And they're in jail for like 10 months. And a guy who's done something horrific upon a 12-year-old gets community time, right? So these are the craziness that is also out there that we have to look at, that's going on. So this is a cosmic choreograph, and looking at what we can do and bring forth into the new world. And this is where my mantra is: I am steady in the unknown, I meet the new dawn ready, right? And this is to release ego driven motives, cultivate the relationships and skills that can weather change. And here we are, the future's knocking. And it's not only knocking, it's here. It's here. And by December, the skies themselves will light up the truth, and the dawn has arrived. We'll be able to see it as Venus is going to become the morning star. And just as Venus is at, early in the morning, Venus will be there just before the sun rises, and you'll be able to see the cosmic, that atlas with Venus at dawn. So that's a huge activation that's happening and coming in. Yeah, so much to unpack today. So much to unpack. But it's looking at your ideas. I mean, many of you have some really great ideas that you're doing right now, and I'm just like so excited for them. And I think they're just something that is totally phenomenal, and it's moving forward, and there's some greatness that's coming in, and continue on that. Continue on that. And moving forward with all of this, right? So pretty excited. I'm excited. I think this is just phenomenal. And I can see the craziness that's still coming down the chute, and that's still very explosive because we live in a muggle world. With muggles. We live with muggles. Ah! So, my loves, I have been on here for quite some time, just going away, almost an hour. So, I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to let you know about my soul package. And please, if you are wanting to do this, let me know. I know some of you have told me online and said, oh, yeah, I'm going to do it. But definitely get a hold of me. My email is the Guru Mama. I'm going to post it up here. It's the Guru Mama at gmail.com. Right? So if you're wanting to join me, I'm going to do this with one finger. Got to pick you up. if you're wanting to join this fall and work with me through this cosmic highway and through all the craziness that is going on, let me know. To work with me from September to February, it's $500, and there's payment plans available. You'll be with me for the Crone Wisdom. You'll be with me for the Fall and Winter series. And then with that $500, you get a reading, a one-on-one reading with the divine feminine energies in the solar arc. And that's $500. There's payment plans. And you have to give me your payment plan. That's a must. You have to give me your payment plan and what you want to do for your payments. And I would need an upfront payment. And that could be $50, $250, or it could be the whole kit and caboodle if that works for you as well. But definitely. And what I'm doing is really preparing you for a lot more of the craziness that's coming down the chute, and the energies that are very transformational and changing, that are coming in. And if you've taken the Journey Club, then the Crone Wisdom, you'll love it. It is like the Journey Club, but not like the Journey Club, but it does have the depth of the Journey Club. The Journey Club is a workshop that I did, an 8-week workshop of self-discovery of who we are and coming into that discovery of who we are and taking action with our own truth. Yeah, pretty cool. That's a good description. Anyways, there you go. All right. I'm going to send you guys out with so much love. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you, and all you say and all you be and all you do. Thank you for being a part of my community and being a part of my day. So have a blessed one, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.